So today I was going to show you how to make these in-scale evergreen trees these are twisted wire and twine trees. Pretty simple process. We'll walk through how to make them. For this project, a review of materials that you'll need: some flat brown spray paint. This is Rust-Oleum flat enamel. Some twine, and this is a thicker, it's natural sisal twine. Got it at Hobby Lobby, but more of a coarse twine that I've found works best. I have tried some twisted jute twine, more of a soft green color, but I've found it has not turned out as well. And so my preference, more of a coarse twisted twine. Again, this is titled Natural Sisal. Some Elmer's glue. I'm using Loctite spray adhesive. Some people use hairspray. I haven't tried hairspray, but this glue seems to work well and is adhered really good. Just an old comb, we'll use that. Fluoro wire for the twisted wire trees. This is 22 gauge wire, just got it at Walmart. Some scissors, tweezers, needle nose pliers. I prefer using these vice grip, needle nose vice grips. We'll see here later in the process. Some wire cutters. And then the best material that I've found for the tree covering itself is the Woodland Scenics Coarse Turf Conifer blend. So also to twist the actual wire, some people I've seen online have used drills, but I actually found a video of a guy who made just a simple wood jig. This is just a couple inches wide, drilled a hole at the bottom, screwed it together, the two pieces of wood, and then just took some coat hanger wire and put that through the wood, and then I can attach this, lay my 22 gauge wire along here with the twine, and then twist that, and that's an easy way for me to get the twisted trees without having a drill running. So I actually clamp this to my workbench before I twist that to help hold it all together. So the first thing we'll do is actually take some of our fluoro wire and unravel some of this. What we're going to do is end up bending it over and then twist it to trap the twine fibers in between the wire. Starting out, all varieties of different tree sizes. Just going to take our wire cutters, clip that off. We're going to want, a small, medium, and large variety. I'm just trying to straighten some of the kinks that are in that, but a lot of it will come off when we twist it here. I've found, 4 or 5 inches in scale is going to be about 60 to 70 feet tall, in that range. Which would be very realistic for an evergreen tree. So I'm taking the end of my wire loop and just hooking it around the coat hanger on this jig that we've made to twist the wire, which then when we spin that, it will twist the wire. I just want to lay the bottom piece of that wire flat, just holding that with my finger, and you can put it on another clamp if you need to, and then just lifting the top part up, and then we're going to be just laying that on the side and cutting some twine so that we can place the twine at different lengths on the wire. So take your twine, and this is again that more of the coarse fibrous twine that we mentioned. Just grab the old comb. I saw this trick online, and you can just comb out the fibers of the twine to help separate all those twine fibers. And then cutting different varieties of length there. Usually, just an inch or so is totally fine on that. So then we've got this separated twine fibers, and just go ahead and start to lay those across your bottom piece of wire, and I've cut a few more here already. So I've got these pieces of twine laid across the bottom wire, and just simply going to bend the top piece of the wire over that twine. And then again, this is where some people use drills, and I've seen some different methods. This one works well for me. I take the vice grip pliers, just grab onto the end of the twine and pull that tight, and then the twisted twine that's going to be in the wire doesn't need to be symmetrical. It's kind of looks pretty messy, but when we trim that up with scissors, it'll look great later. So then just simply turn that jig and twist that wire, and then we're going to go ahead, once we get it where it looks like it's pretty tight and all the twine is trapped in the wire, just simply taking my wire cutters and snipping the top off, because it's a loop that's then trapped on the coat hook or coat hanger wire. So there's the start of our twisted wire tree, and release that from the vice grips. And then really what I'm doing is just kind of looking at it and trimming some of these long fiber areas, starting to trim it closer to the top of the tree, and just getting some of these straggling pieces that might stick out further than what I would imagine a true evergreen would look like. But still it leaves some scattered limbs that might stick out farther than others, which I think looks more natural as we're designing our trees here. What I've run into issues with is what to kind of do with the top of this. Seen a few people with this following method, and I think it's worked best. I actually trim off the very point of the twisted wire and cut that, and then we'll take a little bit of just Elmer's glue and stick it on the top, and just a little dab. Just grab some of those twine fibers and twist them up into the glue, and twist your tree with that, and those fibers will glue together, and we'll trim this here as soon as it dries. And I found that gives a more natural look to the tree instead of just having a cut wire at the top of the tree. So we've got kind of that twisted wire that's glued together at the top. And then we can just simply trim off the excess, so it's just not as much sticking out there. So here I have my partially finished tree, just the green twisted wire with the twine, and I've kind of trimmed that to look more like an actual evergreen, just kind of trimming the top pieces, and then we've glued the tip. So now we're going to just spray paint this with our flat brown. We're just getting the general base coat look with the brown so that bright green doesn't show through. What I usually do, just so I don't waste product, just put something underneath it. Today I'm just using a paper plate to collect our product once we sprinkle it on the trees. What I've again found is best is the Woodland Scenic Coarse Turf Conifer blend, and we'll use that on our evergreens. I've also tried just some different homemade blends, and then just more of the turf blend. I like the conifer blend the best. So what we're going to do, just take our spray painted brown tree and use our spray adhesive. Just simply give a light coat on that spray adhesive. Don't need very much. And then we're taking the Woodland Scenics Coarse Turf Conifer blend and just sprinkling over the top, and it adheres well to that spray glue. And in just a few seconds we've got a really good looking evergreen tree. And we can just keep adding to that tree until we feel it has decent cover. Get some right at the top, and then I usually just kind of tap that out, even just run my finger along the edges and get all that excess product off. And then what we end up with really pretty good looking evergreen tree that's ready to mount on our layout. Yeah, and I had mentioned earlier, this is again my experimentation on different twine. This is more of a very loose, soft twine, and then this is a coarse twine mixed with the soft. There's just the coarse, and so this one and that one are the same material. It's just this last one that we just finished, spray painted brown so that underneath the branches look better, and then use that conifer blend. Makes a lot better appearance on the tree. So here's my finished product on part of my in-scale layout. Trees turned out really well.